Hey everybody. Okay, so I came across something today when I was on the train after an interview, and it angered me so much that not only have I decided to write a letter of formal complaint, but I also thought maybe it would be wise to record this as well, so you guys can understand the situation. So I was on the train back to Manchester Piccadilly, and I picked up a paper. Now, I don't normally read The Sun. That was the paper in question, but I was bored. I know they've had previous for a lot of articles that they've written that have been pretty bad, to say the least. But this one, I think, just kind of took the cake, really. So it's basically angered me that much that I've decided something had to be done, and I've written a letter of formal complaint to the editor-in-chief. It was concerning Bradley Manning, the US soldier, who now identifies as female. I don't think you can read the article online. I have checked on Google and it's not there. It's just literally just been printed in the newspaper. So if you guys want to have a look at what I'm on about, then just go and check it out for yourself. Just go pick up a paper in a newsagents or something. Don't buy it, obviously. And then you can see for yourself what I'm on about. I'm pretty sure it was today's paper as well. Anyway, so the letter, I've even drafted it out as well. It's like 3.5 pages long. 3.5 pages, roughly. And then I've written it out on the computer, and I'm literally just about to send it in an email directly to the Sun. So the letter goes like this: to the editor-in-chief of the Sun newspaper. Dear Sir / Madam, I am writing to you with regards to the article that was printed in your paper very recently about Chelsea Manning, formerly known as Bradley Manning. Even though I do not represent the trans community myself, I'm a cisgendered female, I felt I must write to you to raise my serious concerns over the article. Quite frankly, it was probably the most vile, hate-infested, ignorant piece of trash I have ever laid eyes on. I'd even go as far to say I was really disturbed. This being due to the abysmal amount of transphobia. This is not responsible journalism. This is what can only be described as a vicious witch hunt. Let me remind you of a similar piece written by another journalist, Richard Littlejohn, for the Daily Mail, roughly about a year ago or so. You may well be familiar with the name Lucy Meadows, a teacher who also happened to be transgender and taught in a school in Lancashire. The vile article attacked Miss Meadows and called for her to be forced to leave her job that she loved dearly, simply for being her identity, a trans woman. It led to her not only having a nervous breakdown and having to actually leave her job, it led her to also commit suicide due to the witch hunt that then on followed. I'm wondering, is this the same fate that you wish for Chelsea Manning? Because this is what could well happen. If not to her, then someone else going through the same thing. As chief editor for this paper, I find your actions highly irresponsible, very cold and calculating, because you not only let the article pass the publishing stage, you actually let it go to print when it simply could have been removed. Let me tell you, you've got some bloody nerve. Not only have you offended me, mark my words, you have most certainly offended the trans community with the diabolical words that were printed. some of the people in that community I actually class as dear friends of mine. This behaviour is ludicrous and downright acceptable, and I for one will not tolerate it. I am seething with rage at the way you feel it's acceptable to treat a community with such vitriol. Think of it like this. Your paper, which is broadcast not only nationally but internationally, gets seen by a very high volume of readers. These readers will have come from all sorts of different backgrounds, upbringings and cultures. They will also all have very different lifestyles and life values. The likelihood is a number of your readers could possibly identify as trans, suffer from depression and possibly self-harm, hypothetically speaking. What do you think could happen if a person of said description, maybe a young adolescent, teenager, child or adult, picks up your paper and reads that article after coming home from maybe yet another terribly depressing day at school filled with abuse and taunts from their peers, or a person who has been shunned by society or their family, so they're basically borderline homeless? Do you not realise the terrible consequences it could cause? This article could almost certainly cause an innocent, vulnerable person to commit suicide, another trans person dead due to your Neanderthalism. That was a long word. Ugh. The fact that not once did you actually refer to Miss Manning in the correct way, female pronoun, you actually had the audacity to refer to her as a gay male. For a start, not only is Miss Manning a straight female, it's also extremely disrespectful to Miss Manning due to you not respecting her wishes to let her live in her life in peace and be happy in her own skin privately as a simple human being with feelings and emotions, might I add. Don't even get me started on the title. Bradley Manning is a trait her. You should be utterly ashamed of yourselves. Transgender people, yes, people, because that's what they are, have enough issues already. For goodness sake, can you even maybe begin to imagine what it must feel like to be born in the wrong body? Evidently not. Transgender people go through endless pain and suffering on a daily basis. Not just in the physical respect, i.e. surgery later down the line, but the monthly hormone injections, the trips to the doctors, the voice coaching, etc. Also, mentally speaking, the gender dysphoria, the depression, the suicidal thoughts, the counselling, etc, etc. All this just so they can be finally happy in their own skin. Not forgetting the fact that they are 75% more likely to become homeless, be a victim of assault, or even rape or torture. By letting this article be printed, you are helping to allow for that sort of behaviour to continue by stirring up hate and bigotry as so demonstrated in said article. I am going to end this letter by not only demanding a full apology to the trans LGBT community, but full acknowledgement that you are in the wrong by letting it be published, and also for the journalist that wrote it to be fired. If you do not accept my terms, then I shall most certainly be pursuing this matter further and possibly looking at legal proceedings for slander and libel. Take that as a promise, not an empty threat. I am telling you to, I'm certainly under no circumstances going to ask you nicely, do the right thing for once. Sincerely, Zoe Louise Creasy, Manchester, UK.